Hi, this is Chris Haughey. Thank you for joining me on Create with Chris. Do you love the farmhouse style? I'll show you a unique and easy technique that adds both depth and dimension, making anyone look like a pro. No talent, no problem. Just a few supplies and a little creativity are all you need. I'm base coating the mason jar with gingham blue using my 3/4 inch oval wash, just stroking it on evenly. I'm just making sure to pull it from the center out so that I don't have any drips running down the side edges. I picked up dragon teal with my 1/2 inch awesome angle. I'm floating around the outer edge of the jar. I have a lot of water in my brush and I'm really scrubbing that in to get a nice soft float. Make sure you have enough moisture on your brush that you can really manipulate that paint, move it around. There's going to be some shadowing underneath those ridges and those rims. I'm just basically using the toe of my brush almost like a liner and just pulling those ridges across. Don't worry about being real precise. You just need to indicate those areas. By the time we add the shading and the highlighting, it all works out really well. I've picked up some fairway green on my radical round. I counted the flowers. There are 7 flowers, so there need to be 7 stems. And I wanted to add these in before I add the shading and the highlighting on the jar. I wanted them to not only fill up the jar but kind of overlap. Make sure they go clear up to the top of the rim. I wasn't sure about bringing them all the way to the bottom. They don't all have to be even at the bottom. Just very loosely painting those in. Now I'm picking up some of that black forest green to add a little bit of darkness. We're just going to toggle between the bright and the dark. This is the Amazement. And I've just added a bit. I picked up the Amazement and the black forest green, and I'm just putting the indication of leaves in there. And no, I'm not being particular because there's going to be a lot of shading and highlighting on the jar itself. So these are going to be pushed in the background. I did want to add some highlights on the stems, and I picked the ones that are going to be in the forefront. The ones behind can be a little bit darker. You don't want them all highlighted the same. So just kind of skipping some highlights down there, here and there. That's my favorite word. Just adding in some more leaves and foliage. You know how it gets in as it's bunched up toward the neck of the bottle, it's going to be closer together and a little bit heavier and thicker. I did allow it to dry really well, and now I'm just loading my radical round with white, and I picked up a hint of that gingham blue. I want to create that water line, and I don't want it to be solid all the way across. I want it to be very strong and very visible. Pulling some gingham blue down just underneath the water, it gets a little bit distorted, so that creates that distortion. Picked up Snow White on the toe of my angle to float some highlights across the rim and the ridges down this left side, pulling it down the jar. This is a very light float. I have a lot of water on my brush. I'm of the mindset that I can always go back and add more, but if I add it too heavy, it will make it hard to mute it down. If bring some strong highlights down, not hard to paint at all. Everything just is going to look underwater. It's just going to kind of blend together. We just need those strong highlights and shaded areas. And with that paint being very wet, it's so easy to manipulate it and move it around and create that look. As this dries, it will soften down quite a bit. White always looks so very strong when it's wet, and as it dries, it just becomes very subtle. Picking up a little bit of Stormy, I want to darken the bottom, and my highlights or my light source is more from the left. So I'm going to darken the bottom and the right side just a little bit stronger. I don't want to take away those white highlights, but I do want to add some strong shading on that. And with the background being blue, bringing those blue highlights and shaded areas forward it's just going to reflect off of that background. So I'm just kind of adding in between some of the stems, just that hint of that background. And I think it works really well. Picking up a little bit of Snow White on my Epic script liner, and I can add super strong highlights, just enough to really make that jar sparkle. Sparkle it across the top of the water line, and just pull some random highlights down the jar. I cut a long piece of hemp cording, long enough to wrap around the lip of the jar 3 times. Put a little dot of hot glue on the back and just press it down to secure it. I did use the hemp cording because I thought it would be a little bit flatter to adhere to the back of the panel. I tied a bow and I put 3 loops on each side, added a little bit of twine on the tag, glued the loose end of the tag and the bow all together. Once the bow is in place, I can kind of fluff those little loops. And I secured the tag so it doesn't move around. I did make a little gingham bow and glued it on top of the other bow. And then I'll cut each of these little hanging tails a different length. I think it just looks a little more interesting that way. I put hot glue in for immediate adhesion, and then I put tacky glue in so I know it's never going to fall off. Once I get that applied, I just turn it over, position it, and press it down to really make sure that it's going to adhere tightly. And there you have it, your own modern farmhouse mason jar masterpiece. I love how this turned out, and best of all, it was so easy. With just a few supplies and a little creativity, you can make something amazing.